Okay, so I'm trying out OBS now. This is a replay from the last Goat Format Championship, GFC 11. I believe this might be the first round, where Barristan the Bold, also known as um, James, plays against Riclar91, the current world champion. And yeah, I think they usually get paired in these tournaments. I think they were paired in round one of Worlds as well. Very unfortunate. Two very competent players, both in the conversation for being among the best players right now, and I think Riclar in conversation for the absolute best player. Okay, so let's go. So that's a Thunder Dragon from Riclar, and Riclar opened double Thunder Dragon. T set pass. Um, so we have two options. Summon Breaker attack, Summon Tomato attack. My instinct says Summon Breaker, partially because of the back row, and partially because if Tomato runs over, say, the Koichi, Zangan, another Tomato, then it's exposed to a Chaos Monster, as they would have Light and Dark in the graveyard. And I think that would be a shame for our Tomato to be banished, whilst that's not a big deal if it's our Breaker getting banished. We also have the option to go Charity, but I think that we can hold on to it here. Of course, if the breaker does get Raigeki braked or ringed or even booked, then we might have to consider using the charity, but I think we still hold on to it. Okay, so let's see what happens. Yeah, there we go. There's the breaker. It gets ringed. So, do we go charity or not? I think not. Do we Raigeki break in drawer standby phase? I think not. I think we just pass. Yeah, James agrees. So Riclar sets 2. Yep, we're not going to use the Regeki break here. Okay, so I think we summon Tomato on attack, and if we flip a book, then we probably have to Regeki break. Maybe we don't. Yeah, I don't think so. So we just attack, and if we book, that's unfortunate, but at least we forced out the book. And when we set the scapegoat and try to come back with Metamorphosis. So we Regeki break our Tomato. Yeah, not much to do about that. I think we still hold on to the graceful charity here. Just set the scapegoat and pass. Ooh, that's not good. And I think we just take it. Yeah. And now we have to go for the charity. Pot of Greed is obviously great. Yeah, now we just go charity. So I think we discard Serpent and maybe Heavy Storm. Maybe one of the two Mimics. We can't go for a Blackluster Soldier. That's also an option to discard. But man, if we draw Thunder Dragon, that BLS is so good. But if we draw Chaos Sorcerer, we really don't want to hold on to the BLS. What's our line here this turn? I guess we want to use meta, which means we could also discard Heavy Storm and BLS and meta using the Serpent. So we don't have to discard the Serpent if we're going to go for the meta play. This one is tricky. I'm not going to spend much more time on it. Just going to make a final decision. I think the play is to discard Heavy Storm and Mimic level 1 and go for a Metamorphosis play, but yeah, obviously it doesn't matter which one you discard and which one you sacrifice. Let's see what James decides to do. Discards the ring. That's fair. Yeah, that might be an improvement. I'm not sure, but yeah, it probably is. I would have discarded Heavy Storm though. I think because we're going for the Metamorphosis play, right? Yeah. So I would rather have a Mimic in hand than the Heavy Storm. But maybe that's not even correct. So we still a Spy. And I think we crash. Yeah. And now we pass. Yeah, so I guess having the ring here isn't really that great. But the Heavy Storm looks really poor to me as well. I don't know. I go for the book. So we could respond with our Geki Break here. Um, there's no Faith. There's no Spy. So worst case scenario is a Dekoichi. Tomato. Could also be a Sangan. Yeah, I think we're a Geki Break. James disagrees. Um, yeah, now I think we're a Geki Break the tomato. Yeah, this gonna have a storm I agree with. Yeah, whether or not to discard ring was very tricky. Because the ring would have been good here, obviously. I mean, maybe not obviously, but I think it would have been good just to be able to catch up on the field. But I'm not sure either way there. So we set the Mimic and Riclar scheme. Alright. Match number 2. Try not to go all too slow, but those were some tricky spots for sure. So we're on the play and we bricked horribly. Wow, creature swap and decree. That's nice. Sets Tsukuyomi to bait out Nobleman. Hmm. Not something I would have done. I mean, once we draw flip, we're really happy if it doesn't get nobleman. And if we don't have nobleman, maybe they even summon a decoy chain attack. We're also playing tomatoes. Also, there's mind control post side. I'm not sure. I don't think I would have set the Tsukiyomi, but it just might be correct. Not sure. I probably wouldn't have gone for it, but I'm not opposed to it. Ah, gets knocked. Nice. Flip the decree. So what do we do here? You could make a case for just playing scapegoat, playing creature swap. That's going to work out most of the time. But could be a tomato, could be a Sangan, could be spy. I would probably also we do have the breaker. What is our breaker gonna do? Maybe just pick off a chainable while there are none. Could go breaker, run over the set, and that's often going to be good. And then we save our noblemen. You could also make the case that Magician of Faith picking up a nobleman is a bit of a tragedy. And there's some truth to that. That would not be desirable. I'm not so worried about Breaker running into Spy, because we have Tribe to clean those up later on. Their hand is also 2 Thunder Dragon. I think I had some Breaker with the intention of trying to run the monster over, but that could very well be too passive, considering that we have 2 Thunder Dragon and 1 or 2 dead cards. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't have looked at those. It's not my intention. I just wanted to point at them. Yeah, I think Breaker try to run over is the play. Yeah, I think you should try to run over before popping, right? Not that it ever matters, because nothing has 1600 defense. Decides to go for the nobleman. Yeah, I think that's fair. And now we pressure with the breaker. Yeah, why not swing for 19? Yeah, I think we just missed 300 damage. Um, Once again, I think personally, I would just swing with the breaker, but I can see Nobleman being the play as well. Yeah, you don't want to unbrick them. I don't know. I would just swing, but it could be that Nobleman is better. I think that might be what James is going to do. Yeah, just passes. We're just gonna swing. I would set Mimic. That leaves us slightly vulnerable to heavy storm, but it's not that bad. And I don't even know if we would want to flip the scapegoat either way if we were to get heavy storm, so I don't think that's a factor. Is set. Yeah, we discard Thunder Dragon before trying to run it over with the breaker. And before that, we flip the Mimic. So discard Thunder Dragon, flip Mimic, tribute summon Thunder Dragon, attack, attack. I think is the play. Yeah, so I think we tribute summon Thunder Dragon. Question is whether or not we go for a Metamorphosis play. Um, they are quite likely to have a Dark in their graveyard after this, unless that is exactly Magician of Faith. But I'm quite keen on stopping a Sangan, Tomato, even the Koichi from using its effect. We could even creature swap. That might be the play. Creature swap, just attack. I think I like that the most because if it's something like a Tomato, we have the Thunder Dragon to tribute summon. Because I want to hold on to Metamorphosis if we can. So Metamorphosis for Bolter is only significantly better if it is exactly Sangan. So I would go for creature swap. James agrees. Yep, and we just pass. Okay, so we won that one. Let's go game 3. So we're on the draw here. And we open okay, not great, double Thunder Dragon. But we have the Graceful, so I think that's a disaster. So I would lead with Duo here before showing any information. You could make a case that if we have Dust Shoots in our deck, maybe that's not the line. But I don't think we do, since we run Decree. I think Decree over Dust Shoot makes even more sense when you're on the draw. James agrees. Nice. So yeah, I think this is pretty straightforward. Discard Thunder Dragon, go for Graceful. Yeah, we discard both Thunder Dragons. Oh, I could discard Tsukiyomi to enable a BLS. Maybe that should be considered. No, I don't think so. If we end up in a pinch, we can always meta away the Tsukiyomi. Question is if we try to bait out the Nobleman with the Tsukiyomi here. Or bait out a Regeki break with the Tsukiyomi. That would leave us without the Dark attribute. So we would have to rely on drawing out of it, which is quite likely. I think that's a fine play because we're not really scared of the Tsukiyama being run over. However, could be run over by a Kaiku. Yeah. So I would probably just discard both the Thunder Dragons and go for the Nobleman. And pass. You could make a case for baiting Mind Control as well. It's just not really my style, but it could be correct. We set the meta. So do we have some read that there is no breaker? Nope. That's a bit weird to me. Asura comes in. Alright. So do we trade blows with the Asuras? I think not. I think we set Tsukiyomi here. Just let it be run over and then try to run their Asura over. It's quite risky for them to even try to protect it with a trap, because if we flip the Kree, we're wrecked. So maybe that was James' intention with setting this meta. That's pretty cool. James decides to trade at least once, see what happens. Riclar draws the charity. Serpent 97, but 97 didn't have any target. Okay, and it would appear we're going to keep just trading blows here. Oh, that's very interesting. Yeah, yeah, this setting Metamorphosis is quite double-edged. It fakes the Kree, but it exposes us to Breaker. And now consider Heavy Storm. It is bad with Heavy Storm, of course, because we're going to destroy our Metamorphosis if we draw the Heavy Storm before we use the meta. But it also baited them into setting a second card, so... So do we Heavy Storm here? I think I would be inclined to Storm. Hmm, this is a bit tricky. I don't want to trade blows. We're so behind in that race. Yeah, I think we Storm and set Tsukiyomi and just pray there's no nobleman. Well, it is not that unlikely. No, I think that's just the play we have to make. Oh, we got dust shooted. Dust shot. Um, we picked Tsukiyomi. No, okay, we're just banishing the hand, okay. Asura. So, yeah, I think we just have to set the Tsukiyomi. Decides to go for a meta play. I don't agree with this. I think we have to risk the nobleman. Thunder Dragon is not a particularly good draw right now, most likely. Oh, that's embarrassing. We didn't have a light. Thunder Dragon was a very good draw, and that's the game. So Riclar wins. I think James played very well. I didn't necessarily agree with every decision, but I I am not confident that the plays I would have made would have been better. I think was for just tough spots, and yeah, great game. Well played from James. Unfortunate they did not get there. And yeah, that's all for this review.